I'm Councillor Cressida Johnson and I'll be chairing this meeting. Please can I ask committee members and the officers to introduce themselves. This is for the benefit of any public viewers on
Barnes at Fortis Greenwood.
Councillor Adele Dogan, Bruce Castle Ward.
Councillor Liam Carroll, White Hart Lane Ward.
Richard Plummer, Committee Manager, off camera.
Dan Paul, Chief People Officer.
Ellen Lawson, Harley, Principal Lawyer.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to agenda item 1, filming at meetings. Please can we refer to the notice set out on the agenda and note this information. Apologies for absence. We have apologies for the absence of Councillor Ibrahim Ali. Urgent business, item 3, urgent business. There are no items of urgent business. Item 4, declarations of interest. Do members have any declarations of interest?
No.
Thank you. There are no declarations of interest. Please let me know if you've become aware of any during the meeting. Agenda number 5, deputations, petitions and questions. There are none. Item 6, minutes. Do we agree the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 3rd of April 2025 as a correct record?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed. Thank you. Minutes are agreed. Item number 7, the people reports. Dan Paul, Chief People Officer, will introduce this report for the committee to note.
Thank you very much, Chair. This is the statistical report that we bring every meeting. I don't want to repeat what's already in the report, so if I just draw members' attention to the headlines at 6.1 in terms of the growing workforce, but the reduced agency worker numbers, and that's a result of management's continued focus on reducing agency workers. And you'll see from the rest of the statistics on the report, the only thing I want to really point out is starters, the headcount. You'll see that in December 2024 and March 2025, that jumped from around 500 to over 600, and that's because of the insourcing of Fusion Leisure. So that is the difference you see there. So you'll see those numbers be around the kind of 650-ish mark for the next 2 quarters, and then they'll drop again as the source falls out of the roll calculation. That's it, Chair.
Very much. Are there any comments or questions? Thank you very much. It's a very straightforward report.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that. Item number 8, HR policies. Sample, again, I believe you will be introducing the update on proposed changes to the acting up honorarium and secondment policy and the introduction of new prevention harassment at work policy, the proposed revisions to the parental leave policy to extend pay and leave provisions for employees who become a special guardian or kinship carer will also be outlined.
Thank you very much, Jay. Yeah, as you say, this is our regular policy report, and there are a couple of policies here and then an existing one. So the changes to the acting up honorarium secondment policy are minor. They're part of our regular review of our policies to make sure that they are up to date, legally compliant, and support what the council is trying to achieve, both for workforce and for residents of the borough. So those changes have been negotiated with trade unions, and you'll see them outlined at 6.3 points in there. Basically, it's improved clarity, shortened some periods of acting up on honorarium secondments, and that is to make sure that where arrangements are needing to be longer, they're regularised through permanent arrangements rather than ongoing acting up as secondments, which is neither good for employee nor employer. So that's the reason for those shortenings. Shall I take any questions on that particular one now before I move on?
I just one And the secondment, bear with me and I'll just check which point it was. I looked at it earlier. It'll be pretty brief. It's just a point of clarity. Okay. So it's 541. And I'm just essentially it says if a secondment is at a lower grade than the original post, they go on to the maximum. Now, is that to ensure the minimum loss of payment, but the in certain circumstances reduction in income, obviously that'd be outlined to the.
That's right. If the grade is lower, there will be a reduction in income.
Yeah.
You put them on the maximum spinal column point to minimise the loss. In reality, this is an extremely rare
Yeah.
circumstance.
Yeah, I can imagine. Cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll move on to the prevention of sexual harassment at work policy. Now, I just want to be clear on this one. Within our policies, ever since I've worked here, in fact, ever since I've worked in local government, 30 long years, the prevention of sexual harassment has been core to the policies that we have. So whilst this is a new policy now, this isn't, something that we've just thought of that we should try and prevent. It's been part of the code of conduct, the disciplinary policy, the grievance policy for as long as I can remember. The reason we are introducing a new standalone policy now is to make sure that we're completely compliant with the ACAS best practice and we can evidence that easily without having to go to various different policies to show how to comply. We've brought everything together. We haven't introduced any new policies or procedures for dealing with allegations or issues because the policy directs employees to the grievance procedure and also the disciplinary procedure for dealing with the issue. So we haven't introduced any processes. This is what our stance is as an employer and that we do comply with the law. It's best practice. There have been changes to the law on a prevention of sexual harassment recently. Obviously, those sorts of legal changes aren't directed at employers like us. But in order to make sure that we fully comply and that we demonstrate compliance, that's CDC. Any questions on that?
Suppose my only question would be the reporting procedures are just, like you said, you've just streamlined them from existing.
That's right. So the process for dealing with allegations or dealing with issues goes into the existing processes we have.
Yeah.
So if it's an employee making a complaint, it's the grievance process. If it's the employer dealing with the issue, it's the disciplinary procedure. So there's no confusion, there's no duplication. So this is a policy statement rather than a process change. Okay.
thank you.
I shall move on to the last thing, which is the proposed changes to the parental leave policy. Members will remember that we talked about this at the April committee and members asked officers to go and consider what we could do for employees who become special guardian or kinship carers in response to the deputation from Unison. We have done that and the solution as agreed with Unison is outlined in the report at 6.5. It effectively mirrors adoption leave for parental leave and kinship carers.
Thank you very much. I just want to begin by saying how delighted I am about that. I think it's absolutely brilliant and it's really where we need to be as a council. It really fits with our values, our hand game about in terms of looking after all of our looked after children and making sure staff getting time off work to go and take care of young people is brilliant. So I'm delighted. Anyone else got any comments?
I agree with the sentiment, Chair. I think that's really welcome.
And agrees, yeah.
I've really got one final point on that, which is I would like to see better arrangements being extended to foster carers. I know that there has been a bit of discussion, but I don't know what the committee feel about that. I would like to see foster carers having access to a bit more flexibility like to ask, and the time in Pritchard to have another look, if people are in agreement. with foster care policies.
Happy to support you.
Yeah, we will have a look, of course. The only thing I would say on that is that it's slightly more complicated because, you know, foster care can be short and long term, whereas
Yeah.
this is taking on basically permanent responsibility. So what I would suggest is that rather than mirror these arrangements,
Yeah.
we look at our special leave arrangements. We already have these arrangements in place, and we, as the cases come up, it's very difficult to kind of write a policy for these. But as we do have a overarching policy of special leave in appropriate circumstances with pay. So what I would suggest is that as the cases come up, we can look at those sympathetically in terms of the special leave with pay, rather than make a policy statement, which
I would agree, because I grew up next door to somebody that used to foster, and children could be in and out within a couple of weeks or a couple of years, and it depends on the needs. It'd be very difficult to treat those wonderful foster parents exactly the same as how that works.
Absolutely. I suppose I'm not asking for parity.
Consideration.
Just a review
Yeah.
to see if we can do anything more
yeah, I think that's very
to
fair.
really encourage our employees to be foster carers, which is also useful to us in all ways.
Yeah, sure.
Anybody else got any more questions?
I just welcome the report and what Dan and team has done for the commission. Discussed it in the last meeting.
Yeah, thank you very much for your work on that. That's
Our pleasure.
fantastic. That is brilliant. Great. news.
Do you agree with the recommendations?
So do we agree with the recommendations from this report?
Yes, wholeheartedly.
Agreed.
Are there any new items of urgent business?
No.
Next future meeting. Next meeting is scheduled for 9th of October 2025. Thank you. Should cool evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Really good.